Brothers and sisters, before I get started, I'd like for you to notice that it was Paul's audience was the Thessalonians, and this is a personal letter to him, to these Thessalonians. And I want to show that this is a past event. But first, I'd like to ask you the question: which causes more grief and more doom and gloom, more concern? A man of sin that is out there in the future, or hiding under every rock, or or a man of sin that God has already dealt with and he's dead and gone? Well, brother, sister, I happen to believe that this man of sin is gone. He was in the first century, and he was a man. He was a man. And a lot of people think he was Nero, the Roman Emperor Nero. And but anyway, here's how you can tell that this is what it's talking about. He's talking about a man. He didn't want to give his name for whatever reason, but he said, look, here's what he said. Instead of saying his name, he says, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things?" So put yourself in Paul. Paul's talking to his audience there, and he said, "Don't you remember? He didn't give the name because it probably wasn't a good thing to do, but he did say that. Listen, remember I told you about this man." And so he said, "This man, I've already given you information about this man, but I'm not going to say his name." So, brother and sister, look here though. "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first." These people had been thought the resurrection was past and all this other stuff, and he was comforting them. He said, and that man of sin be. He said all this has got to happen first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So there was a man that had to be revealed, and he was giving them information on this. Look, he didn't come to you 2,000 years later and say, "Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things about this man?" No, he didn't say that. He said this to his audience. But anyway, he says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." Here it is. This man of sin goes in the temple of God and claims to be God. And look, where does he go? In the temple of God. There's no temple now here 2,000 years later. It's been torn down. But at this time, the temple of God was still standing. In the temple of God, brothers and sisters, it was still standing. Just want to make this little short video to show you the evidence that people just ignore. The temple of God was torn down, but it was standing at the time this letter was written to the Thessalonians. And he said, no, all this other stuff has to happen first. That the man of sin will go in the temple of God. There is no temple now. There's not one stone left upon another. Well, I heard one fellow tried to, he had egg on his face, and he was trying to get out of, when I point this stuff out to him, I go straight to the thing and I show him, evidence, this cannot be pushed off into the future, because he went in the temple of God, this man of sin. But anyway, who opposeth and exalted, he thought he was God, this man of sin. But anyway, there is no temple. Let me make a point. Here's the smoking gun, if you want to call it. This right here. "Remember when I was with you? Hint, hint. I told you these things." I'm not going to put his name out there. It was probably Nero. And he went in the temple of God and claimed to be God. But anyway, there is no temple now. But there was a temple back then. Temple of God. Not, this was talking about the physical temple, brothers and sisters. I heard they'll try to spiritualize this and say, well, we're the temple now, and he's sitting down, and we can't let the devil sit in the temple, our temple. No, brothers and sisters, that's just that's just poor logic. The temple of God, brother and sister, that's no longer standing because Jesus said there wouldn't be one stone left upon another. Remember ye not that was when I was with you, I told you these things? So, brothers and sisters, this is evidence right here that people just read over, but I make them look at it. I put it right up in front of them real quick, and they look at it, and then they have to say, hey, you know, that's right. There is no temple of God. But they'll try to spiritualize it and make us the temple, which we are the temple. But you can tell Paul is not talking. His audience is right here in front of him. He says, remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things? So there's your evidence right there in the 5th verse there. But I just want to make this a short video showing you that this man of sin is dead and gone. It happened in the 1st century, in and around 70 AD, the sacking of Jerusalem, the tearing down of the temple where there wasn't one stone left upon another, and the setting up of his heavenly kingdom, where he is ruling and reigning at the right hand of the Father right now, and he holds all power right this moment, brother and sister. Jesus, our Lord. But anyway, I'm going to make this as short as I can, and I'm going to put it up there so you'll see it. I go right to it. The temple of God, brother and sister. That temple of God was the temple that was standing, and Nero, or whatever his name was, that's what most people think, went in that temple, claimed to be God. But he was giving him information on this. Paul was. He wouldn't be telling us, remember ye not that when I was with you, us 2,000 years later. No, he was telling them. But anyway, peace and love from this old boy down here in Alabama. The man of sin, the man of sin is dead and gone. Now, brothers and sisters, in this world we'll have tribulation, but this event has already taken place. Don't let them scare you with that. Peace and love from this old boy down here in Alabama.